J5320 is here. Look, crappy car. And remember what they did too is they themselves wanted everything abnormal, so they are bringing suspicion down on everybody who comes to the building. They didn't want anything normal. Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie. I'm at 505 Northeast 70th Street, Seattle, Washington, 98115. I've got another broadcast on, different vantage point, and I'm in a state that turned to cannibal zombieism full bore 14 years ago. And there was a lot of gang activity before then, and these bums are all cannibal zombies. There's nothing left of them. And like this ugly, I wish you could see this ugly guy without me hanging up the broadcast. He is so hideous, you can't even believe it. It's basically what is left of Washington. He's actually under the window, so it was hard for me to move the camera around. And these bums made a concerted effort to kill white Semites, warm-skinned Europeans, white-looking people. So, concerted effort to kill. And so, they also target people that were green-eyed, blue-eyed, gray-eyed, and anyone of talents or ability. So, talent, ability, looks, intelligence. Now, what am I doing? I'm drinking my coffee, just charging some devices before I leave. Oops, I've hung up again. And remember, these things are retarded people, and they got together with bad professional and fake professional, or even ex-professional. The redundant theme of we're the police, we're medical, we're scientists, and usually the scientist or doctor ruse, including with, it could be 1 to 2 bad doctors even operating illegally. It's a cannibalism ruse to play taking you off to commit you. They'll often stick you in a wall, torture you, and you end up as a hamburger. Red rugged truck, Toyota, went by as far as Toyotas could be rugged. Looks like it's uneven on the left side. Listing. It's a medium Toyota. It's not the biggest. With a red canopy. Just went by. I note traffic because there have been kidnapping threats, so I note people that are driving and parking. Remember, I'm not an expert, but I will tell you anything you can record, whether it's exits, entrances, gathering places, parking places, people driving by, you know, people parking, that's an excellent way to go. The parking place, maybe that's all you have, parking lot. Will people drive up in a parking lot? They drive out usually. Maybe you don't have the front door and back door, but you've got a pretty good view of the parking lot. Well, if you're being threatened, a lot of your activity will come via vehicles. And even someone just walking by and they look at you and it's a freak and you feel like you've got something like a stalker in your life, and even if it's an old lady shaking her fist at you, and well, maybe she's part of something more sinister. Someone out walking their dog that likes to try to look in your windows, and maybe they were watching you undress, and you thought your window was closed or something, and they're looking at you, and then they come by all the time. Maybe you'll catch that. I'm sure that's happened to a lot of us, or just somebody who looks at you too much. And they're looking up at your window and you've been threatened. Maybe you have a stalker, established stalker, and maybe it's related. So I'm drinking my coffee, just getting ready. I am going to leave, and I will note that there are people on duty at Green Lake Plaza, even though I've been threatened with rape, slavery, torture, murder, kidnapping. There's a lot of slavery threats that come right out of the building, where people would actually have you as a secret abuse victim. You're going to go to each of their apartments, or you're going to do like laundry downstairs. A lot of the laundry is victims' laundry, and there also is cleanup with dirty towels. A bronze Suburban just went by, and they gestured up at the window. Like a Suburban type, like the old Suburban Jeep type, bronzy, sort of an unusual color. Popular in Washington. It's that bronze that makes it look dated. Slight metallic flake. And what do I do when I start my day? Well, I actually go from one threat to another, and I feel that it's my job to chronicle what happens. So people behaving like they are, which is cannibal zombie, they need to be recorded and broadcasted. Even gang signing, telling you you're going to walk off with them and using a code such as, you're going to be a hearse dog. That means slave. And don't kid yourself, people targeted whites, white-looking, Semite, and warm-skinned European. A lot of white or white-looking, that's a very operative word, targeted their own kind. Why? Money, property, credit, slavery. They're cannibals too. They're also making money in this buildings and other buildings like it by butchering poor, hapless animals that they torture, and people. And there was a hillbilly cousin of mine that comes here. He was shouting about cannibalism and Safeway earlier. All the stores are afflicted with cannibalism. And I'll say afflicted or cursed. And yes, you can still buy oranges and crackers. Sometimes you have to watch out for the stench permeating the store. So it's like, I might want an avocado that day or some crackers. Well, the crackers, I haven't bought as much. Why? Because they're wax paper and it's cardboard. And if it's if there's a stench in the store, that stench and that bacteria is permeating. So I actually developed a chip addiction instead of crackers. So when I want a cracker, I get a chip now. Why? And of course, I wasn't raised on junk food, so it seems delicious. BDY4815 just drove in a station wagon Jeep. And why would I buy chips instead of crackers and then develop sort of an addiction, which I don't eat them every day, but I eat them. They're really not that, they're not that much worse than crackers that are junk food crackers. They're about the same level of food item, but it's the fact they're wrapped in plastic. And you have to pop it to get through the bag. So if a place stinks, in one part of the store, and you can't buy fresh vegetables or fruit that day because you're worried about the stench and, it might have penetrated your avocado. I also look at fruit differently now. I look at the avocado is missing its little belly button. And that's a place where bacteria can be admitted. Or stench. I don't want to eat something that smells like a corpse. Or a rotted dog that they tortured. And that's why I mostly went to vegetarian it's mostly vegetarian. AOJ 57 something O just went out. So I mostly eat fish and dairy. And even dairy isn't so great because of the animal cruelty. But, that's my protein. And other people are protein obsessed. They don't care where it comes from, and they want to eat cannibalism, basically. I do not want any cannibalism. The bums will try to force you, not only induct you, they'll try to force you into cannibalism. So I'm going to get a garbage bag, and I still take my garbage out in the midst of hell. Yes, I do. And I still make sure that the heater's off, the stove is off before I leave. There's a whore yapping you to blah, 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 head, you're going to do this. Now, where is some noise coming from that I'm hearing besides the front? This crawl space is here. People crawl up. People on Periscope have actually called the police. So they've heard it. So it's not imaginary. And it's part of the game that bums who decimated 31 million people in 20 years played. The You're Crazy game, there's no one there. And the dirty cops will play it even as people are kicking in your door. 911 will play it if you're on the genocide list. Oh, and they'll try to pretend you were outside or in the hall. Correct. They use people of color. Why would they use people of color? Well, they can hide behind them very effectively and commit crimes as they're carving up your face, calling you a Nazi. There's a bum chanting about brandy. Remember, they thought they could do everything. So I'm going to bring you outrageous, real behavior by freaks, and you're going to get them committed if you can't get them arrested. You're going to help me, I hope, if you don't mind. Your opinion's important. So if you see people running at me, threatening to brand me, you've got a face that you know is a terrorist. So I'm going to get ready, not going to listen to anybody, and I'm going to leave. But I'll tell you one thing I will do. I'm going to turn around the camera instead of traffic cam. And just getting stuff together. Moving things from place to place, like I'll move matches away from a heater that's acting strangely. I'll move the candles farther. Whatever electrical area is behaving strangely, well, that's not a place where you're going to put something flammable, right? The electricity's bad. It's a symptom of the genocide. Remember, they destroyed anyone smart, nice, or normal. So you've always had a seedy atmosphere in Washington. They turn into hicks like after 3 miles out of the city. There's a reason. They're retarded Mongoloids. And remember also, there is a whore from the Seattle Public Library here. She is a cannibal zombie. It's an ugly, older, witch-like female. She has sort of light skin. An operative word, looks white. Looks white is an interesting word. Remember, I'm not white. Well, looks white actually did the genocide. Looks white. It was a very clever way to hide, especially if you have black Nazi relatives. I have black Nazi relatives, it turns out. Looks white, operative word. She's a tall woman. She's got kind of a pointy nose. She usually has salt and pepper, long, loose hair. Sort of wavy. There's body to it. She is here. She is a cannibal zombie. I've also heard her discussing flags. And remember, you don't listen to cannibal zombies. You probably don't want to handle things the way I do. How's that? Well, if you handle things the way I do, I have a terrible temper, and I'm an abuse victim, and I like to yell a lot. Now, yelling's good sometimes. Why? Because it draws attention to someone victimizing you. But yelling isn't always appropriate. I do know that, but I will yell. I also have leapt at people over 6 feet tall on video that threaten me. You don't want to. I mean, you want to learn self-defense. You want to listen to the experts. Don't go by my temper as an indicator of what you should do. Or, like, there's a fine point that I like to talk about in home defense. So, let's say you're coming back. You either have to leave your home unguarded or have something quickly at the door while you're making sure there's not, what? A false alarm. So, anything you can keep at the door to quickly make sure that you are guarded. Otherwise, you're going to be in an apartment flopping around with your alarm, the doors flapping open, someone can come right in. Even if it's locked. These things carry keys. They will key your apartment. They'll not only enter through trap doors. So literally hundreds of thousands of entries have been made by key. I'm going to throw out some flowers. So, anything you can do for your safety, that's a good thing. Also, you do realize if you're turning off your alarm, you do realize there's some things you have to think of. What's that? Well, you're vulnerable. There could be somebody in the apartment even after you set the alarm. So, what about checking the rest of the place and not relying as much on alarms as some people would? I'm a prime example of why you don't rely on ADT. I'm just running a fan, so it got louder here, by the way. So while you're busy setting the alarm, and this is what you need to consult with the experts. You could be locking yourself in with somebody who's broken in. So you have to, even if you've set the alarm and you feel fine, you're in the entry, you do have to realize there could be somebody in the rest of the, even a small apartment. So you've got the rest that could be breached. And by the way, if you hear me kind of hissing, I'm cursing zombie things, and yes, I can hear them. They are morons. They are repugnant. And so if you can picture evil morons that are repulsive, that's what I'm surrounded by constantly. So they're not only evil, but they're disgusting. They are absolutely the most repulsive you can think of. And if you can picture that ugly librarian thing that's a cannibal zombie, she's here on crack, she upholds her job, or she maintains her job as a way, basically, that a lot of people in Washington do. Why? A way to what? And I'm brushing my teeth. I've got to turn this around in case anyone breaks in. And I'm having trouble turning it around. Come on. Sorry, I'm two-faced. You're in Washington, you're on US, you're on Earth. I'm big on cursing zombies. So that's on. I'm going to super arm the alarm. What does that do? That means you can't walk around with your arms doing aggressive things. So if someone popped out from the closet, the alarm would go up. And it's on record, and so ADT wouldn't be able to hide that record. Why? It's on video. So, by the way, the ADT guy that installed, he's very much involved with the cannibal zombies. He is one. He's involved with the gang members of this building. Brush my teeth. There's a horror chanting. They also like to chant obscenities, but they'll chant about excreting people as fecal or urine. They like to chant about eating them, about torturing them. You do realize they think they're magical. And by the way, so this ugly retard at the library, she's also maintained a job, probably because she's got minority status, and also she's done things for the gay. So she's probably not even that bright, but she has done things for the gay. She's not attractive, but she's done things for the gay. Remember, the playing field is low in Washington. It's sham jobs. So, like yesterday, there was an Asian woman who's bidding on kidnapping and trying to enslave me. And they were talking like they were superior, saying, oh, she could do something, that's so sad, she's brilliant, blah, 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 yeah. There's nothing real in Washington. They're all sham jobs that will, even like a volunteer position, they're cannibal zombies. You don't want them. So a cannibal zombie position is what you'd end up with. You'd end up hiding bodies, and you'd end up hiding bodies and guts and blood and eating guts and blood with them, or they'd kill you. And even if you did that, they'd still kill you if you're on the genocide list. So believe me, I've heard a lot of cannibal zombies that are white or white with other. They're quite surprised when their time comes. Some are accepting of it, and they'll literally walk off like lemmings with other morons. Now, I'm not a cannibal zombie, so I'm even in bigger trouble. And something about these freaks, they knew I wouldn't join them, including my grotesque family members. So I was stating that Don and Larry Blackmore seemed to do a big kill in the 80s. And I believe they killed somebody with significant money and property in the Southwest in the 80s. Cursed zombies, here's a good one. Curse them by crossroads. You get the cross. What am I doing? I'm going to the bathroom. Sadly, I have to super arm the alarm. There's a horror playing blah, 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 picnic. I don't even know what she's talking about, and I don't care. They like to pretend victims picked themselves or shot heroin, and they'll refer to people they poured glass on or put glass on the possessions of as pick me, pick it. And I'd like to state for 2 years straight, not even my stuff at Roosevelt Self-Storage has been safe from sprinkling with glass. behind the bathroom, but obviously it's not crawl space along the windows. Why? Well, it's not wide enough of an area. And these bums have been paid good money. Well, it's not good money, but money to go against people, whether it's, I've heard people actually bragging of $100 to dump acid in water and to make someone's face raw and red, and a passport. So guess what that meant? The shit-ass moron was off to another country to spread poisons literally and figuratively. That was a white-looking bum. Operative word often is white-looking. Why? Probably was part black is what saved it. Or part something. And remember, I'm not even white and I'm here to tell you the truth. And remember, these are retardos. Retarded, ugly fuckers, yapping continuously. Yapping, sticking their hands out, a lot of black Nazi maggots that you would never even want to talk to. They're gross, hideous fucking freaks. Now where's I need something. I was washing my hair. I'm disorganized today. I woke up later than usual. There's I use various items to organize, including a jug. I'll probably here. Why? Because instead of wasting it down with water, you can pour that on your hair to wash. And one of the whores and bums, they were absolutely complaining that I made that ugly freak sound like the ugly freak she is. So, made her sound, as I said, they said, grossly. Now remember, they're ignorant morons. So they're going to use adverbs and verbs differently because they are illiterate. And there's a bum playing pick-me and charms. They're trying to do magic. So just ash everybody in Washington 999 trillion times a nanosecond. There are retardos. 466ZHP is here. It is a dark gray. It is a like a Jeep station wagon build. And remember, when you have morons threatening you with kidnapping, who drives up to the building is important. And these shit-ass morons were playing You're Gonna Go. Remember, they're ugly retardos, and they were given authority by retardo cops. They're nobodies. They don't have the right to tell you to go, but they do. Remember, they're retarded, ugly fuckers. And so remember, trying to do things and being bedeviled by shit-ass morons, either chanting or threatening, including from 207. Retardos, even from 207, chanting and threatening as you're trying to do things that are inconvenient and altered anyway. Why? Because you have to live life a different way. I don't run the sink. Why? These are cannibal zombies. What would they put in the sink? Urine, fecal, vomit, phlegm, pus, menstrual blood, semen. What else? Poison, including poisons that burn you, radiation. And who lets them? Who helps them? Who will actually dump it down? Dirty cops. Dirty freak cops. Retardos. Guaranteed retardo. Guaranteed retardo. Guaranteed deficient in some way. And anybody who let people walk around with radiation, you know that's a fucking moron right off the bat. And there's a retarded cop here He's from the North Precinct. He's an ugly male. He is, I have to put my shirt on because I'm going to, did I super arm? I'd like to super arm. If not, I'll have to redo it. So they're also costing me almost $60 a month in alarms. And other equipment such as separate alarm. So they're costing money. Most people would have cable. I can't even have cable. And you have nowhere to sit and watch cable anyway. And guess who'd be watching the cable and they'd be coming in to watch the cable? There are actually black males and other shit asses in this building who were telling me you're going to have cable so we can come in. Good reason not to have cable right there. Nobody is welcome here. There's a whore playing Dallas and table saw. You don't even care what these things are saying. You call the police. If people are acting strangely and talking in gibberish, you call the police. It might not be gibberish. It might be a code of what they want to do to you. Dallas, they'll play both. Don't even worry. And then you can tell the police, hey, I noticed that they were repeating a word that was odd. And they were chanting in apparent gibberish. And then the policeman might say, what do they say? Jealous and table saw. I think they said Dallas in this case. And that means making you do a table saw. Let me tell you, try to make me do a weapon or use a weapon rather, you're not going to be a happy fucker. You might slip instead of the victim. You can slip, let's just say that. You hand a weapon over to me, you're not going to be happy. You can slip. I assure you, the table saw, I'll make my best effort so the table saw does not go on the bunny or the dog. Or even the icky zombie kid. And these other things, well, they can slip, you know that. Now, there are legalities, but would you rather be forced to hurt a bunny or would you rather defend yourself? So check your laws. If someone is kidnapping you and trying to force you to do something, check out the law. There's a retarded wagon chanting boyfriend. And remember, he thinks, even though he's an ugly black male or another ugly retard, that you're going to listen and let him play boyfriend. Because he's doing magic. They're playing old man. So remember, in this building, they'll also try to hand you over as a slave to the ugly shit asses. So there is no shit ass that I would even be seen with in Washington. And there is no ugly, they're playing laundry. And so what they're telling you is what? I'm going to tell you what they're telling you. They're telling you to get the thing trying to get slavery arrested or committed. So committed if you can't. And he's a danger to that person he's making the slave threat on behalf of. One of them is the ugly ex-security guard of the Pike Place Market. And he's telling you that the ugly old man can't live by himself. So he's telling you to get the ugly old man locked up, the ugly old woman, the ugly young woman. She can't take care of herself. She can't change her pants. And see, you can get this, but I'm going to tell you, they smell. They're torturers. They will smell of their tortured victims, including they smell of urine and fecal. They smell of blood. You don't want that in public. It's a health risk, and they can't take care of themselves. You don't want it sitting next to you. You don't want it sitting on chairs. You don't want it touching anything. Why? Because if it's not them, they might also be carrying around jars of the stuff to put in people's food on their possession, so they're a health risk right there, health risk. So what you're going to do with these health risks is get them rounded up. They stink, And they'll also smell of semen. So that's a health risk. You don't want any of these people, whether it's blood or flesh or whatever, rotted flesh, dripping on people's food. You don't want them playing with it. You don't want them putting it in your food, your water, like the librarian. So they're going to stink of blood. You smell them. You smell people like that. They're going to stink of urine and fecal. So basically, you could round up all of Washington. You could say they all stink. If they're drinking and eating raw people, or even cooking rotted flesh, or cutting people up, or around it, or wearing their clothes, because remember, not everybody is naked as a victim right off the bat. So these people will stink. And you don't want them touching your food and dripping corpse flesh into it. They could be playing with the corpse flesh, which they do, and dripping it into your food and water. You don't want that. The males, I still want you to have an image of the grossest males you could ever find. Doing what? Running around with erections, premeditating rapes, and wearing condoms, including running from next door with a condom on and their pants unzipped. That's according to the boasts, also at Roosevelt Self-Storage, library, anywhere you go. By the way, bathrooms are big places where people will victimize you. So, picture the cannibal zombie. It's a disease. It wants to propagate the disease. Picture the state as a disease. Good cells gone, stripped out, blown up, whatever, destroyed. Bad cells in there. Now, practice your energy activity. You're going to hear me do one. I'm every poison. I'm like nitroglycerin. My molecules of the atoms are a funny shape. Who else is like that? We're also every deadly energy, and so is everything. And when we want to hurt ourselves, no. We want the person we love, or the bums who love Satan, to be harmed. We want to be fine. If we hate Satan, the goal is to be fine. Energy activity. So anyway, that's just a fun little energy activity. Could keep you from getting somewhere. And believe me, there are a million people I would have hit by now at least. And one of the horrors is chanting, leaving your room ajar. That's one of the things they'll try to do in gang-ridden zombie buildings. And let me tell you, you don't pay $60 a month to have an open door, do you? So the retardos like to go back and forth and they'll use any cover story. So that ugly black moron or that ugly white moron that pees himself or stinks, he is your boyfriend. Now, these things were starting to get dangerous 20 years ago. They're even more dangerous as of 20 years ago. And so they got more dangerous. Why? They don't realize how ugly they are because people let them carry off people openly. They absolutely think they're handsome and amusing or witty. They think they're valuable for the reason such as what? Oh, well, people let them do anything they want. Remember, they're insane. They're going to insist that they are police and FBI, even on mental health queries. And often I tell them there's material for the SWAT team to come for, and you might say, well, you can't talk for the police. Hey, these people they have weapons. If I didn't tell someone these things have weapons, I'd be guilty. It's like, oh yeah, here's a guy and he's screaming, and does he have weapons? They usually would ask, no, but he's bragged about it. I've heard guns cocky. That's just about every moron in the building. It's a terrorist hideaway. That is one of the reasons they want the room. What's another? It's 1,046 just for this dumb alone. Market rate. What's another reason? They want to perpetrate crimes under your name. What's another reason? They want a stove, they want water, they want a refrigerator. They're cannibals, but they want a secret hideaway. It's under your name. Big one. There's a horror play, Mike's House, and they'll play hotel, black Nazi lingo, calling someone else's apartment a hotel or their house. And it's a place they can also, like they'll call you madam when you're not, or prostitute when you're not. Why? Because if they form this false identity where you're the criminal, it's basically like they're staining you with propaganda. They're staining you. You're not the good one, and then they take off in your ID. They'll clean it up, like Melissa Udd. She's not a talented person, but she had over 300 of the 800 women's identities that she had that added to the lie that she, or promoted as well, that she is talented. And a lot of her, even her projects that she showed me, her mother helped her do. And they hid she was a special ed person. And I was seeing a lot of these sorority and fraternity weren't very good looking or very smart years ago. Why? They weren't. They had gang connections, so their mommy and daddy's money and the force and coercion, people disappeared that rated them badly. So the money lubricated their way through school. A lot of these people that committed the genocide, remember, they got rid of smart, pretty nice, normal, good, handsome. Well, that's some instructors. It's not, and also they probably got rid of people that were applying for policeman jobs. So you've got a lot of ugly, retarded old cops that are senile and drug addict cannibals. They have no competition because they got rid of the playing field. What did I just do? Well, I can take a bath down in less than a gallon of water. Especially, I've even done it when I have longer hair. One of them's chanting about pneumonia. They will try to put plagues around, including at my storage. I've also been sprinkled with glass there, like the possessions, for the last over 2 years. I actually put on like a clean pair of jeans, I thought, and then I was itchy, and then it felt like animal hair, and I looked down, and there were 2 blood stains. My clothing's been cut up. These are all sham agencies. They'll also try to have people terrorize you out of your storage, either visibly walking around telling you they have a gun, or sneaking around in a crawl space, terrorizing you. They'll use the bathrooms as rape places. Now, what would you do if you had to go to the bathroom in a dangerous area? Well, I'm going to tell you something interesting. You start obstructing the door when you're in the bathroom, that person loses vital time in committing the rape or the assault. You could be a guy, maybe they'll just carry you off after hitting you. So you obstruct the door. If you wanted to, you could carry a stick around in a bag. Now, the sticks are longer. You could have one, like let's say you have a storage place. You could carry a stick to the bathroom. And just, whatever you can fit in a bag even. Some might be travel size. There are clamps. So there are clamps you can put at the door. What's another good one? Well, you know these bathrooms in Washington, these cannibal zombies are voyeurs. So what's one of the biggest things they do? They like to spy on people in the bathroom. And even the children are rapists already, including at least level 1, thinking they're cops spying on people. And they love going in through the bowl, like I said. There's a whore yapping, junket, this, blah, 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 yapping, yap. I'm going to spray because it stunk in here. Oh, by the way, whatever your stalker hates, load up on it. So your ex-girlfriend, she's a psychopath, she hates tuna. You love tuna, you can't get enough of it. You spill it on your pants, you love it so much. You eat it like a maniac. What else? Your supposed ex-friend stalks you. He doesn't like perfume. You love perfume. You love anything like that. Now, remember the cannibals always like to whine. They're always so delicate. And that's, the same person eating the human leg. And covered in fecal because they like to play with it. But they're also delicate. And one of the same persons I'm talking about, not an ex-boyfriend, definitely, too ugly, but he was also always worried about people with colds and people with zits. And he was frantic about touching things. He possibly has contracted AIDS by raping and torturing and eating a victim. That's your average cannibal zombie, germaphobe, but they might be up to their arms and legs in filth, including rotted corpse. There's a bomb claim. I'm going to have somebody call the police on Lisa. Am I going to call the police on the police that are called? Yes. And do you listen to somebody if you're suspicious it's not a police? No. If you think it's not the police, you call the police on them right off the bat. You can still call the police on the police. It's a common ruse here. It's used by blacks all the time. People of color, remember I'm not white, they'll act like you're committing a crime because you won't be a slave. Common ruse. So, nothing in my storage looks clean, and I've had slashes in my clothes at Aurora DSC. I had not just slashes in the clothes, burn marks from acid and bleach marks. Now this water isn't cold, I was going to work on some mud or something. Every poison, well, it's a funny shape. So remember, these are gross freaks, and you can really, like, let's say somebody's going to rob you in a neighborhood and you've just bought your groceries. You might be able to stop the robbery. How? You can freak them out with their germaphobe ways. Sneeze on your groceries, lick it. You just lick the bag. Oops. Your average cannibal zombie fucking freak, germaphobe thing, you might knock out 40% of your robberies if you freak it out. Oh, it's going to infect them. So you've freaked out the ugly cannibal zombie freak. I've actually seen people that reeked of blood, practically moaning, touching a door, waving a bleach rag like a talisman in a disaster movie. Bent over, practically shrieking, with a pained look on their face. Same person who has touched fecal urine, vomit, phlegm, plus menstrual blood. Same person who touches blood and rotted corpse, rotted animals all the time. How do I know? Well, I've heard them. I've smelled them. You don't smell like rotted corpse for nothing. Now, there are a few people who smell like rotted corpse. Why? Or just rotted meat. Not necessarily corpse. Why would they be smelling of rotted meat? Well, they might have bad teeth, but hey, they need help. And if you think it's a cannibal zombie, they should be rounded up anyway. So they need your help. So what else would smell like rotted meat? A stomach condition, a skin condition. But either way, it's health risk round the up. We're not just talking bad breath, we're talking wanted. So, okay, that person needs your help. Maybe you can find them a doctor, and that doctor rules out all of the above. You can possibly find a cannibal zombie right there. These things will absolutely even cook up rotted flesh. Remember, the thing is then going to be worried about germs. Did I put on my deodorant? I threw it on the bed, like an idiot. Now, remember, the stench of the thing coupled with the chanting and the grandiose mannerisms. The thing in my state will come up to you often with an upraised fist, and it will chant gibberish. So the gibberish is showing you that it is what? It's got dementia. And hello, I hate to sound discriminatory. You've got a lot of old cannibals, or they look older. What they'll do, they'll take somebody who looks like an 80-year-old, make it look like a grandma. It might be a 65-year-old meth head. It could be a 40-year-old that looks 70. So a little grandma detail, and the thing's ready to go. And so the granny thing. So actually, if you want to know something, then instead of worrying about being discriminatory, what can happen? You can, I'm just making sure that things smell clean. It looks a little weird, I know, but remember, nothing is clean in a storage. Also, I've been carrying it around. So a little deodorant somewhere, yeah, it's not very good. But the cannibal zombies, unfortunately, they're smell obsessed, and it's unfortunate living around them that I feel weird, like, oh, well, don't think I'm like them because I'm spraying around toilet deodorant. They like Febreze, quite personally, or quite frankly, and they like perfuming products. But remember, you're going to run into the same kind of, oh, it's the delicate cannibal routine. And is it really that delicate? No, but he's very worried about his allergies. It's a control method, too. And it's a split. So the same thing that's exposed to terrible, terrible pathogens is going to act like a fucking freak over some perfume or some germs. Excuse my language. Oh, and by the way, remember the propaganda they put out over people to destroy them? I would go places that I just gotten out of the shower, and I noticed these people smelled weird like blood. They smelled like corpse breath, and they would play "You Stink" even when it was beautiful. Beautiful, and had showered. I remember one time I took my hair down to take it out of it used to be long. I took it out of a rubber band, one of those rubber bands women use, and so they don't break their hair. And then the smell of the perfume filled the room, and I had to watch this one young guy because I wasn't trying to be sexy or attractive. After all, I was over probably maybe almost at least twice his age and more, 2.5 times his age. And he looked and it was like, well, see, I didn't stink. It's the cannibal zombies that stop. They stink of corpse, and they did all these things as cover-ups, and they're perverse as well. Perverse. Sorry, I brushed my teeth. But I don't brush. Why? Well, I used to use hot water to brush my teeth. So my teeth got washed more often too. You've heard about the water situation? Librarian bragging about putting corpse flesh in the water or tortured animal too. Blood. So these things are spreading plagues also accidentally. But just by their filthy habits. So if they stink, it's pretty much a guarantee also if it's cannibal zombie, they play with those substances. And they don't have chakra or a soul or spirit. They'll actually try to cut up a human body to find chakras. That's another reason why they obsess. They have no chakra, aura, spirit. There's one playing blind you. His name is probably Roger. He's a retard. It's an ugly, retarded male from, well, he had a friend, Samantha Briggs from Burt Gilman Place Apartments. She was an ugly, fat inebriate. He probably was screwing her and just getting high. And I know now, because he is a criminal, they were probably doing criminal activities, such as, oh, do you have this person's identity? And, oh, did you get her? And she looks white. Get what I'm saying? Were you able to break into her apartment and rape her? Some of the worst rapists are women, by the way, and that's another way to find a cannibal zombie thing. They are trying to propagate very bad DNA. So the ugly things are trying to propagate, it's like sewage. It's the bad cell that's stripped out the good cell, like AIDS. It's taken the DNA, it's replaced it with bad. Just turn a car and a loud engine. One of them sounded large, like a truck. They often will take advantage not just of white or black or gray or military-looking vehicles. They'll take advantage of actual legitimate businesses, or what would have been legitimate. They're playing branding. There's a horde chanting branding and suckle. Another one was cursing my chakras. Remember, they have no chakras. She was playing later on not. So there's a louder truck or something that's just sort of released some air, but not a nice for vehicles. Brakes maybe. And let's see the time. It is 9:54 a.m. Winding down, there's not much battery of one phone. The other one's been charging. There's a horde playing Guthrie. There are constant threats of drugging. Now, how did they hurt people also? They drugged them. You've got dirty, retarded people that are actual doctors, like Dr. Jaffe. He's actually threatened lobotomy. Remember, it's not anymore legal for a dirty doctor that's not even allowed to do operations. I could actually tell him, no, I'll give you one. It's not any less illegal. Because what? He's got a license. He has to, uphold certain standards. There is the Hippocratic oath. And by the way, a flunked out nurse that usually comes here, her name is Deborah Lake. It turns out she flunked out in '79, but she was portraying herself as a nurse for all these years. I knew her about 10 years ago. She sneaks around here playing arrest and commit. She flunked out of nursing. And she would always talk about the HEPA. She couldn't even get that right. What is the HEPA? She pronounced it HEPA. What is it? She was talking about Hippocratic oath of nurses and doctors and other healthcare professionals. So instead of Hippocratic, which is the Greek word, she pronounced it the HEPA. She's a head injury. She's a welfare scammer. And also, for Gilman Place Apartments, they let her get an apartment that wasn't paid for, really. How? Well, she claimed 30% of her income. Well, she was making pretty good money with the insurance scams and the welfare scams. So she was claiming that she was making $600 a month from her Social Security, which would have been a Social Security of someone who never worked. She allegedly, she might still be, was a teacher that taught English at a school, and the school usually varied. It depends on where it was. So it was usually in churches. Some of the worst crimes are occurring in churches, around churches, just like the animal cruelty person like Lisa Umal. She's a dog walker. Critter sitter is what her name is. So the sham of the nonprofit, that's used regularly at the church. Now, I'm not talking about the Asian, Asian school. They taught English. She was getting $3,000 a month at least. She showed me checks. A lot of it was done checks. She was probably laundering back and forth with her boss. And also, so she was getting checks, and I know how she was also laundering some money. These things will launder, especially if she's mentally ill, so she might have gotten away with it. She might have been laundering through one of her brothers or her father. There was some mention of a kind of laundering going on with that family. But the financial institutions also let this go on. So it's not like they're innocent anyway. Wells Fargo, the banker from my bank, he's in on a particular crime affiliated with destroying people's looks. It's not just to punish them. What else are they doing besides punish? Because they like to play demon or whatever, remember? They're absolutely, they are getting rid of someone's appearance. That can't be you. You were beautiful. What's one of the biggest scams I've heard of? Well, they have got pictures of a victim when they were pretty or nice or normal looking. They pretend that they give you surgery so you'd be pretty. They created that look. They did it with me. I had nice cheekbones. I had pretty eyes. I was always asked to be a model. My own sister and my family wanted to destroy me, and they did. Why? That's one of the symptoms of the genocide, destroying people of good looks, talent, smart, pretty, handsome, like I said, good looks. And Wells Fargo Bank, University District, Nicholas and a couple of the managers and also tellers come here. They smoke crack, but they're in on the genocide. They use their positions to do it. Actually, I have to turn off at least one of the heater. I don't need it, and I'm hot. What am I doing? I'm cleaning my feet over here with wipe, soap, and rubbing alcohol. Obviously, you don't want to be near a heat source, do you? With too much rubbing alcohol. Why? The flames could ignite. And remember, I took showers. You don't want to take showers in some of these waters, especially if you're on the victims list. They'll clean and clear it out for themselves. And there's a redundant theme I will mention. You can't have it for you, but they're going to have it for themselves. So somebody taking over your apartment, they're going to have clean water. And they're going to not worry about acid in the water or urine or fecal vomit, phlegm, pus, menstrual blood. Plus, they like all that. They add blood to water and corpse flesh. They like that. And the premise is that they're cursing you, and the victim will come after you. Whatever your belief system, that's their belief system. Am I telling you absolutely to believe that? No, that's up to you. Whatever it is, I'm going to tell you that it is, in my belief system, that it is evil. But it's up to you to determine what you think or feel about the premise of cursing. But I will also let you know something about cursing. In the end, these are filthy retards. So is Satan. Because they are dumb shits, they're mongoloids, they're not allowed to curse people. Don't tell me what to do, including magically. That's my premise. You're too stupid, you're too ugly, you're mongoloids, you have no talents. And they're ripping an animal or a person and they're playing roommate of mine. And they'll play little games. Their belief system is they're consecrating the person or the animal to be their slave. I often will hear them tearing at a bone, stating their intent. They're cursed. And you know you could get them committed for that. Satanism, start locking up all Satanists. Lock them up. If they're a Satanist, there is no, well, I can't say there's no bones about it, that's bad. There is no proof any Satanist was ever innocent. And they will try to clean up. I've seen Church of Satanism act as though they're friendly, nice people, even donating to people. If they're outright Satanists, or even if you think they are, and there are no nice, harmless pagans kissing trees and praying anymore. It's you're down to level 0 and below with people that are Satanists taking over everything. They will even try to take over the religion of the one true God, Jesus' Father. Why? Because it's power. It's not their power, but they want it. And also they want to mask themselves So they usually have an ambush plot. Last night even, they were playing guards. So retarded, stinky bitches and bastards think they can play guards. So any fucking retardo, hopefully I can catch them on video. They are stinky fucking retards that nobody wants. Remember, nobody wants an ugly fucking black man. And remember, I'm as much as an 8 or and the bum's playing something about an assignment, episiotomy on you. Bitch, remember, what you say you can do to me, I can do to you legally then too. So, one of your friends these shit-ass morons are using the word episiotomy. A lot of them they cannot pronounce it. They're using it as a word for FGM. Remember, most of these things are not Arabs or Muslims. You're going to see whites that threaten episiotomy. There's a bomb plane, you're going to lay it down. Fuck you, bitch. You're going to get shot by a SWAT team. Remember, Michael Tedhope, my estranged, ugly brother, is here. We have not even approached each other for 18 years, except he has snuck around my apartments. Even my niece actually bragged, we used Lisa's bathroom in the 80s. What did that mean? Home invasion. Maybe drugging and beating me in my sleep even then. And a horse playing wasn't home invasion. Where did Melissa live in the 80s? Kirkland, Redmond, or whatever. Redmond, Kirkland area. Now, where did I live? Port Arthur. You see a difference? So, they weren't allowed to have a key. They were not given keys. Even then, even if I talked to them, they weren't given keys. I loaned my mother a key once. I think she did. Oh no, I wasn't home. Did I loan her the key even? No, I don't even think so. By the way, they had a bum's mother playing your mother, who has been deceased for 18 years. And that's Michael Benjamin Davis Wood's mother. She was playing your mother last night in the hall with the freaks. She's an ugly fucking freak. She's a grifter, cannibal, zombie thing. She's an indigent. Michael Benjamin Davis Wood's mother, her name is Carol Wood. Her last job was at Queen Anne Apartments. Her son lived at Inglewood Forest. Where's my manners? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done as earth as in heaven. Please forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. If you want to curse cannibal zombies, curse them for usage of gave, sold, lease, loan, traded, gave permission, gave lack of didn't give permission. Opposites, but gave, sold, lease, loan, traded. You will do a lot of damage to zombies with that mechanism right there. And by the way, it's not evil to curse garbage. And remember, I'm not even white. I don't have to go out with an ugly, stinky black bitch. And that means male too. It's a stinky fucker. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as earth as in heaven. Please forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil, for that is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. There's a whore chanting about marriage. Nope. I'm going to get some fucker arrested and committed, bitch. So kill zombies playing permission. Why? They play it on a visible and invisible field. So what do I mean by that? Oh, you said we could kill so-and-so. And they also use curses, so kill them for any permission. There's a whore playing roommate and submit. Am I going to submit to a shit-ass playing roommate? Absolutely not. What am I going to do? I'm going to eat an orange. Why? Because I want an orange. Now, I will tell you, these sick freaks will also inject fruit. So I'm going to, actually, what I'm going to do with the peel, I'm going to, not because they inject fruit, obviously. I like the smell. I'm going to keep the smell near me. I'm going to keep some peel. Perhaps put it in my wipes. I'm in big with good natural smells. I shouldn't have to use toilet deodorizer, but quite frankly, it gets a little expensive to have natural odors. And if you see me gritting my teeth, moving my hands, I'm cursing zombies. I'm not on drugs like they are. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as earth as in heaven. Please forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil, for that is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. I'm just going to carry this fresh orange peel smell around, putting it right in my bag. And if you know some of the stalkers don't like a peel, oh, and there's an ugly black boogeyman. He has the little blue car that I had. It looks like BIV2917. These ugly freaks will act as though they can legally give you over to a black boogeyman or some other shit ass. He wears the aviator cap. He is slightly tall. He's in his 60s. Guaranteed no woman would want him for anything. He's a pants-shitting moron. Ugly as sin. And he's got the little blue car. Looks like a Chevrolet logo. Now, I do have trouble changing the camera over. I've got sticky hands. I apologize. This is my charger in the way here. It's holding up the phone. Let's see if I can do it. So the bums in this area have, see, it's not, I'm pressing the little the camera sign. There you go. He's sitting on the park bench. A little blue car. It's probably not even his car, knowing everybody in Washington. Not even his car. There's a bum chanting, heroin junkie. So what they'll do is sprinkle glass on you, play you're a heroin junkie, drag you off, discredit you. It's a big game with the cops. It's a prostitute, we're her jaunts, rapists. Big game with the dirty cops. There's probably at least one dirty cop here, by the way. Or he just was. So if they can get glass scarring on you and play, you picked your acne, it does another thing too. It obscures your identity. And remember, Nicholas of Wells Fargo Bank and other lending institution, even managers, are involved in taking away people's identity in order to add to their coffers. So that ugly boogeyman over there, he is one of the males they've made slave threats about, and one of them stated he wants me to have her do laundry. He has even confidently thought that he would approach me even though he's ugly and he's clearly a worthless shit-ass zombie. Remember, the boogeymen and women don't know how ugly they are because they've routinely carved people up, they've drunk their blood. Satan taught them that they were beautiful. Satan and also people letting them get away with that kind of behavior, they think they're beautiful. They think they're magical. So they'll try to drug you in this building and hold you as a captive. They'll even use ketamine to erase your memory. How do I know? Constant threats. Special K. And I looked up ketamine. It can induce a coma-like state and it can erase your memory. And remember, these freaks get together with dirty doctors, fake nurses, dirty nurses, ex-nurses, retired nurses, and they'll portray that they are medical. So I talk about the same things a lot of the time. Why? Well, it's like if you just come in on one broadcast, oh, here's a freak sitting in a muddy room with nothing. Well, I've given away a lot of my stuff. It doesn't pay to have anything in Washington. And I'm not going to supply for drug addict cannibals that will kick open your door and conveniently have a place to enslave you with all the accoutrements of a nice household, which I had. They're also property obsessed. I'm routinely threatened up in my storage, I said, regularly. People will look in your unit when you have the door open. They'll kill you for $10 worth of crap. Roosevelt self-storage. is what I want you to call the police on too, if something like that ever happens to you. The bums will play spit money on you. Is that your problem? No, you call the cops. You call the cops. Do you care, even if it's an old lady and she said, oh, I invested in you? Well, is that legitimate to invest in someone behind their back? No, it's not. So you offered graciously to call the cops, whichever is safest, because you don't want to endanger yourself. And these are slavers and extortionists. Like, people might even come up to you and state that they have invested so that you would be a maid. That's not your problem. You call the cops. You can graciously offer to call the police for them, or just call the police. And plus, you might help her. She might actually have dementia, and she might need a health and wellness check. Remember, you can't get them busted for doing crimes. You get them rounded up for being crazy. One of them is talking about making my nose bleed, if you can believe that. It's playing act like picking nose. They'll also have a lot of people spreading propaganda out and falsifying identity. By the way, the Xfinity Comcast van is here. It is a terrorist agency, C something 48, and it's got some, looks like somebody graffitied it. It's got a red logo, but there's black. Can't find my brush, by the way. Does it really matter if I can't find my brush? Not really. There's nobody to look good for. These are all ugly retards. And remember, they sprinkled me with glass and made me ugly, but in the end, even if I weren't, oh, and by the way, that noise, that is somebody at, I don't know if you heard it, crawl space. Underneath also. So they're going to try an ambush from up. Now, why would bums talk about nose picking and nosebleeds? I have very violent nosebleeds. What do they do here? Well, when they break in, inject people that are asleep, they'll strew glass, strew poisons around. What else? One of the things they do to whites, white-looking Semites and warm-skinned Europeans, remember I'm not white, but I'm on the genocide list, apparently, established, well, actually probably from birth. Why? My gross sister. So I'm black. Now, so what's one of the things they do to people, especially whites and white-looking? Well, they like to perform illegal procedures and play alien. Oh yeah, an alien did it. Never trust those alien and ghost hunting agencies, especially out of Washington. Seattle Museum of Mysteries, Weird Science, Seattle Metaphysical Library. They're going to pass off gang crime, and they have been. Oh, here's the Xfinity going bye-bye. Just cleaning my glasses. They're playing Get You Alone Doubleday. And one of them is a fat, ugly, there's a kind of a round-headed, ugly, white-looking man with a dusky skin, white-looking, operative word. And there's an Indian male, and even though they're about 5'6", 5'7", and fat turds, they're very confident. And remember, take self-defense. You won't be in awe of people just because they have a certain appendage. Oh, when I was telling you about bathrooms earlier, and bathrooms in a bad area and you're afraid someone's going to break in, you can obscure the door entrance by, well, you can, that's not the proper word really, you can place objects at the door so people can't get in. Obscuring would be sort of hiding it. So, I'm distracted, remember that. So, you can place objects at the door, even your bag or your purse. I mean, you obviously don't want your purse stolen, but let's say you have a big duffel bag. You can hang that off of even a door latch. It's harder to get in. Put your big walking suitcase or your backpack up against the door. And you can carry also, another thing to carry that would be very easy, it would be one of those door wedges. A door wedge. What am I doing? I'm just packing up, ready to go. There's some dirty clothes. So I go to my storage, but no, there's nowhere safe or clean for me. And Roosevelt Self-Storage, also they'll let anybody in your storage. Oh, there's a bum making a decree about you also will clean the storage. Am I going to do things for people or get them arrested and committed? So arrested and committed is a fairly good plan. So a bum's playing, you're going to clean storage. Will I do that for anybody? No. But I will take them. And remember, I have a pretty good temper. There's a whore playing, you're a devil. You're going to bare your cheeks to me. Now, the whore might actually mean as in face, and you're going to let people cut you. And remember, these fuckers are in on mutilation. They are boogeymen and women. Am I going to do that for the whore, or is she going to be a little sorry? Let's just put it this way. A stinky whore trying to tell me what to do will be quite sorry. Oh, these ugly things? They thought they would mug me with another ugly fucker, and you note he's probably got a victim's computer. And if those things think they're going to act like they're going to accompany me, there's going to be some big fucking trouble. Because these are ugly shit asses. I wouldn't be seen with them for anything. They're gross. And it's probably a victim's couple $1,000 computer. 3. My phone went to split screen. And the whore was chanting physiognomy that was out there with that unattractive male. And you never know. Oh, there's a bum chanting about split lip, by the way. So, split lip. So these ugly things think you're just going to submit and roll right over and curl up. Remember, that's, especially after they scratch me with glass, that's how they got a very feisty personality to come out. Why? Because they're ugly freaks, they're retardos, and they killed based on color and ethnicities and targeted people that were white-looking, semi-Western European. And the people who did this are ugly freaks. So you're not going to have, somebody is chanting repeatedly about cheeks, and she said you're not going to have skin. In American Spanish. So a black Nazi whore is chanting blah, blah, blah. You're going to be endless cheeks. You're not going to have skin. That's what one of the cannibal zombie creatures is chanting, possibly from 207. So it's a retard, and remember, they thought they could absolutely, and Bob is talking about Nicole. Nicole Wilkes is a cannibal zombie Satanist that was the manager at Burt Gilman Place Apartments years ago. There's buddies with Kathy Cox. They were in on genocide, along with Deborah Layton and the other morons. And Kathy Cox is here with probably her only daughter, Emily. What is Kathy Cox? She's a welfare bitch on heroin. Now, why did these ugly fuckers get together with cops? Well, these ugly retards will never give up. They'll get shot. They'll get committed first. They even get eaten by other cannibals. It's like having a guerrilla army that thinks they're unstoppable. They think they're unstoppable. They are morons. They will never, ever give up the idea that they're FBI. They're retarded people. Her son's retarded. Her daughter's retarded. They think they're government. And the whore just stated, I'll have you alpo. Now, these whores and bums will also feed animals, people. So they ruin lots of animals by feeding them cannibalism. And then you're sort of wondering now, do you blame the animal that was starving? Still not good. Why? That's also how you make aggressive man-eaters. You also make them into aggressive cat and dog killers and other animal killers. They can't be trusted. So you're not going to be able to trust those animals and turn your back. And you know what? Curse the animal owners or users that are trying to feed cannibalism or have, so that they are eaten by their own dogs. And that's a beautiful curse on a zombie thing. Make sure that there are more dogs eating their owners that are cannibals. And remember, these are cannibals. Do not feel sorry for deranged, lunatic zombies. Do not feel sorry for them. Curse away. And remember, Kathy Cox is an ugly moron. Her son is so severely disabled, he sounds like burbling sewage. When someone sounds like burbling sewage and speaks thickly, and they can't speak like a normal person, and they're claiming to be a cop or something, what do you think's going on? It's a retardo. But it's an absolute example of the retardos in my state being encouraged, and unbelievably that retardo has bred. There's a bomb chanting about pants not on. Now I'm going to tell you once again, these rapists can't get their minds out of their pants, including the females. So a lot of time is spent on raping people. They're jealous of people, so they're spending a lot of time cutting them up and torturing them, or torturing them before they cut them up, such as strewing glass on them. A lot of time is spent destroying faces by whom? Ugly freaks like Kathy Cox and her ugly fucking family. Look at Washington uglies and retardos. Mushy butts, 80 years of welfare, suddenly gets a condo. What's up? Mushy butt suddenly has a house. What's up? Even, guess what? Mushy butt suddenly has a house from the, a low income. What's up? Actually, these people have a system based on hurting people and animals and killing. They'll actually end up with what? Welfare and welfare housing from hurting people. Oh, here's another one, another sign. Mushy welfare ass all of a sudden gets off the welfare couch after 40 years. Mushy butts in the cafes, sucking up $20 worth of coffee every day. What's up with that? Mushy butt killed people and got their credits. Welfare face is welfare face for a reason. And guess what? Ironically, mushy butt and welfare face really aren't disguising what they are. And they're the crudest, most grotesque people you've ever seen. They're never going to look like they have class. They're never going to look intelligent. They're pompous and they are really pathetic. So remember, mushy butt. It's a good way to, if it looks suspicious, it might just be. Mushy butt in the cafe spending $20 a day on coffee. Or more. I've heard that some of these bums that have more than one identity, even people that you would think would be sensible, they have drug habits. Why am I thinking they'd be sensible? Well, I knew them in the past. Apparently I didn't know them. And there's another thing that shows you there's nobody here. A repeated game is played, such as what? It's your boyfriend from 30 years ago, he's here to kill you. It's your boyfriend from 30 years ago, he loves you. And so what does that tell you? Well, somebody knew who my boyfriend was from 30 years ago. And that points to my sister and also ugly Michael Benjamin Davis Wood. He's an indigent. He wasn't an indigent before. A little black car just went up toward the freeway area. It has kind of, a lip on the top. Like it juts out. And it's smaller. So, let me tell you, most people don't show up after 30 years later to kill you and drag you off. So what does that tell you? There's nobody left. And there is nobody I'd want from my past. Why? I know they're all grotesque zombies. Is there anybody I'd meet in the future here? No, they're all grotesque zombies. Is there anybody at this moment I'd want? No, they're zombies. And they love, like I keep drumming it in your head. Remember, I'm not an expert, but they love the false relationship ruse. Why? It's your boyfriend. That explains why the bum has your kidneys, and he's made $10,000 or whatever it is, for kidneys these days. It explains why you're on your knees scrubbing the floor for the ugly thing. I'm breaking down the camera. It's split screen. You're viewing a tarp. You see my hand for the last 2 years, and this is a bad camera. I actually have scratches. This is a really bad camera. It's not showing up. It's blurry, but I actually have scratches and grooves all over my hand. What's that? That's from gang members sprinkling glass, including at Roosevelt Self-Storage. There's a gang member chanting on her knees, blah, blah, blah. Remember, these ugly things like to be dominant. And even if you think I'm crazy and you can't hear, actually people on Periscope heard them and they called the police. And more than that, heard them and admitted. I'll tell you the ones that said you're crazy. There was a door almost kicked in at least 3 times right after. There were angry people cruising Periscope, some of which I've seen out front. How did I see them out front? They'd use their profile picture, their real picture. And they were talking to the most psychotic gang members. So I'm hot in here, but it will be cooler outside. Now more than that. Pick this up off the floor. Remember, oh my goodness, spilled coffee as usual. And the whores and bums will refer to a victim in derogatory. Oh, a blue van with sort of dark windows just went by very quickly. It was a navy blue. Now, what's significant again? Vehicles. And there's a bum saying we're going to get ratted on. You sure are, because I'm going to make as much big trouble and shouting. And there's usually an ambush plot as I leave in 207. So I'm still getting things together. I've just plugged in a device. This one's at 84%. So it's kind of vital for me to, well, it's unfortunate, but I'm actually tied to, oh, there's a horror plane you're going with William. What's William? What is the word William a reference to? It is a reference to ugly black Nazi morons. And remember, my family are secret black Nazis. So you're going to let William inject you with heroin. You're going to let William rape you. You're going to pretend William's your husband. You're going to hand him your check. You're going to hand him your storage. William. That's played all the time. And I showed you an ugly bitch outside. He is a boogeyman. And if the truth be known, nobody would ever have wanted a William. And if the truth be known, and remember I'm part black, that questions the validity of a lot of so-called relationships of abuse with black men and other men of color, doesn't it? How many women were forced right from the beginning, trailed tears and And remember, there is no black male that is appealing or good-looking, and there is no male in Washington. They are the biggest cowards. AOL 4957 just went out. Sort of a narrower white car, sort of built like a half oval. So I've got, oh, and there's a bum chanting panties on. Remember, these ugly things don't get their minds out of their pants, their genital area. It's like I've described, it's like the disease wants to propagate. And remember, they took the good cell out of the state. It's all bad cell trying to propagate. So how you can find a cannibal zombie sometimes, I'm not going to call it a sex drive because it's based on rape. It's based on rape and control. Grandiose behavior. The boogeyman thinking they're good looking and that somebody would ever want to sleep with them. That's one way. Like that ugly old man outside, there's not one person who would really want to sleep with that ugly thing unless they were a desperate hag on drugs. And if they're a drug addict, if you talk, or habit. That's about it. Now remember, as I leave, I want you to picture 207 and people who hang out with 207 as boogeymen that will actually brag about grabbing people. There's a horror plane you'll clean up. What's the cleanup threat? It's a slavery threat. What am I doing? Getting ready to walk out. And remember, 207 has ambush plots, including ugly rapists. That I want you to picture the boogeyman premeditating rapes. So picture creepy, ugliest of ugly, walking around or running out with an erection and a condom on their genitals, on their penis. I said penis, why? Well, it's actually more correct than saying, you know, wang or something. 974 ZBM just came in. Remember, it's not just about blacks. It's about people who went in on a genocide. It was profitable. They're also sick. Oh, I didn't put away with my phone. So picture the boogeyman. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret about boogeymen. and how you can get them locked up. Now, they like to play with their own bodily fluids and others. So what are you going to do? You're going to get them locked up and committed for it. Why? Well, a man shouldn't smell like semen. And they're not trustworthy if they smell like semen. Either they're a rapist and they can't control themselves, or they're playing with the bodily fluids and they are sprinkling it or putting it in people's food, their possessions, they're playing with it. They're a health risk at the very least, and they can't control themselves in bathrooms. They could potentially be the man that drags off your daughter. So if a male smells like semen, or even a female, now I want you to look at females as rapists and that they're just as bad as the males. So if a female smells of semen, she could potentially be, well, she's a health risk, yes, but she potentially could be carrying it around and playing with it. She could be putting it in your food. Do you really want that thing dripping pathogens everywhere anyway? Including it could be a food worker. She could work at the grocery store. They do. They're filthy freaks. So the zombie, remember they're Satanists, and they're playing with all this crap. And that's how you also know Satan's a big moron. You know, a lot of people would have liked, or beings would have liked flowers. Satan liked